evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chaska Human Rights Commission meeting of Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. We're live today, and it's so exciting to see everybody in person. And generally, the first thing we do after we say hello and welcome is to do the roll call. And so, Nate, could I ask you to do the roll call for us, please?
Yes. I'll go around this way. Commissioner Lisa White.
Here.
Commissioner Sienna White.
Here.
Commissioner Welvert.
Here.
Commissioner Haga.
Here.
Commissioner Sandison.
Here.
Commissioner Hubbard.
Here.
And Chair Carlson.
Here.
So there's a few people absent tonight. We have Commissioner Castillo is absent, Commissioner Hughes is absent, and I'm missing one more, Commissioner Spreadberry are all absent tonight.
Well, next on the agenda is the official commission photo.
Right.
I know. It's exciting, isn't it? So, Nate, are you doing the photographic honors
I
tonight?
will do the photograph. I have my professional cell
Device?
phone. Yes.
Excellent.
And so it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. If you prefer to stay in your chairs, I would at least suggest that we kind of scooch together a little bit. Alternatively, if you want to do something standing, you could sort of stand in front of the backdrop there. I'll leave it up to you how you feel most comfortable and want to proceed.
What's your pleasure?
I think we might look like a lot of small heads if we stay sitting.
We want to have like 3 seated and then everybody else can fold it around the chairs. That might work better.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Should I
So do you
stay
want to
seated?
scoot over?
Because I think if we're pulling people in, we're okay.
I can't go farther, there's a thing. Okay,
Okay.
then now I can.
Okay.
Can we see Sienna over there?
Scoot over a little bit.
A lot of pressure, Nate.
I was going to say, this is,
Kevin's gonna hold you to a high standard.
Business. All right. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. We should just do one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
You just curse yourself.
great. Now, this,
I kind of was wondering if, well, when I heard picture, I thought that was great, but I was wondering about headshots because when people come and go, and if people miss the group picture, it'd be easy to put on and take off pictures, or?
I am not prepared for a headshot tonight.
It was just a thought I had.
excellent.
Maybe we can refer that back to the Webpage Committee to consider for.
Yes,
Excellent idea.
I will note it.
It's a good idea, though, when people switch and stuff.
I don't know either.
Okay, after that photographic moment, we have the agenda. All of you have been sent the agenda. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Sandison. Second, Haga.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Although this is our first night back, the public is so busy outside with the book sale from the Chaska Public Library that they failed to come in here. So we have no public presentation tonight. Do we? No, I don't believe so.
I don't believe so. Is there anyone on Zoom, Michelle?
I don't believe,
Safe to say none, yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we have anyone, but not to worry, we will be talking about a lot tonight. So the minutes were sent out from June 24th. Were there any changes, corrections, additions, deletions that need to be made?
I did have one correction on the last page of the minutes, which is page 8 of the packet. In that first paragraph, the last word, quorum, is misspelled.
where are we?
The last sentence, yeah, quorum.
Yes, I see that.
But other than that, I had no changes.
Any other changes? Then may I have a motion to approve the minutes with that correction of June 24th, 2021?
So moved, Welder.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. Hubbard.
Thank you. All those in favor, is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Great. Well, that takes us right up to the treasurer's report, and that's really important for us tonight. So what have you got for us, Nate?
Yeah, a couple expenditures in the month of July. One would be a T-shirt for Commissioner Hubbard, so he's prepared for the River City Days booth. And then we have the Pride Picnic, which the Human Rights Commission did approve an up to amount for that, which was $500. We were successful in succeeding that amount, so we did consume your $500, and then Parks and Rec Department is a co-sponsor of that event, so they took up the remainder. If you're wanting the full cost of that event, it was, I'm not going to have the exact off the top of my head, it was around $700 for the event.
Just tell us kind of what it was spent on?
Sure. So there was the DJ, there were decorations, there was supplies and materials for the tie-dye station, for the arts and craft table, ice cream. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, with those expenditures, we have a remaining balance of $1,369 for this year.
And the figure that we spent on the Pride Picnic is really important. We're going to talk about the Pride Picnic in a little bit, kind of getting a review of how, or a debrief of how the Pride Picnic went. But we need to remember that at least $500, particularly if we think we're going to do the event again next year. So keep that figure, at least that figure, dollar figure in mind. Are there any other questions for Nate on the treasurer's report? Okay. Now, Nate, in the past, have we made a motion to approve or to accept your report?
It seems to ebb and flow. I don't know that, yeah. More often than not, we
Normally
don't.
did.
Okay, great, then we don't need a motion. Well, but that leads us to the River City Days committee reports. And Lisa, we can't wait to hear what you have to say.
And Martin?
And Martin, who's in charge?
I don't know if we have anyone in charge of the group.
Okay.
It's okay,
Well,
it doesn't
It's
matter.
very much a team effort, as
We
my
met
observation.
here not too long ago, and we went through our bins. So I think after the meeting tonight, we're going to go downstairs and pick up our bins. And we are
One note
the...
on that, staff are prepared to bring the bins over for you tomorrow.
Oh, so we don't have to do that?
You don't have to do that unless if you really want to. We won't get in your way.
I think we should let them take them over.
It's pretty generous.
I
Get them
think
over
that
with.
would be amazing. And I think maybe we will be there a little early before 4 tomorrow so we can get our sign up and our table all set. And I appreciate everyone who has signed up. It's amazing. I'm not sure where we're at now, but I'm hoping every slot is filled.
So I do have in the report, if you want, I could summarize that, or I don't know, Martin, if you're looking at it.
I'm looking at it now. It's on page 10 of the packet.
Yeah, Jen said she signed up subsequent to this printed out, so.
Yep, I signed up for 6 to 8 tomorrow night.
Okay, well, that's good. So then Eder will have company during that time. So sorry I missed you on that, Jen.
I signed up after you sent out the agenda, so
Ah, okay.
thanks for the reminder.
We do have, for those listening, we do have open spots on Saturday from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, And if we keep it open from 6 to 8, we need at least one person to be there at that time. Otherwise, we can shut it down at 6.
Does the event go to 8?
It really slows down on a Saturday evening.
I think especially for this kind of booth, I would imagine.
The fun booth.
The traffic is.
I can tell you for the city's booth, and I don't, whether you want to model after the city or not, but for the city's booth, we didn't even attempt to get a 6 to 8 time period filled. Even at the 4 to 6, we usually sort of wonder how many people are really going to be cycling through at that point. 'Cause a lot of people tend to move, my observation has been they tend to move over to dinner time and start doing that kind of stuff, so.
I have a question about the booth too. When we were at the Pride Celebration, we talked about maybe hanging the banners, the pennants for the art project at our booth at River City Days. Do you want to check with Tessa if we could still borrow those?
Yeah, I will do that. We'll see if we can make that happen.
And did you purchase updated candy?
Yes, there will be updated.
I don't see that on the treasurer's report, though.
Well, it's in process of being purchased tomorrow morning,
Got it.
but it will be taken care of.
So we won't be serving 2-year-old candy.
Yes, that was the situation.
So at the booth, Nate did a pretty good job of summarizing everything on page 10, so if you're not there, but we'll have 2 poster-sized notepads for people to write down why they enjoy living in Chaska or things that we could do better. And then we can save those for a later date and use them at another event.
Did we get those? They're part of, do we need to, it just occurred to me, do we need to do something about pens, something to write with, and sanitizer perhaps?
We didn't talk about that.
No, it just occurred to me.
I can bring a sanitizer. I have a whole garage full of it.
I got a drawer full of junk pens that,
I have 2 huge bottles that, well, could probably last us Friday and into Saturday.
I wonder if markers would be better, like something that is bolder for people to be able to read it.
I might still have some markers.
I want to say there were markers.
So you're talking about for the large notepads?
Yeah.
That's all taken care of. The markers, yeah. The markers and the notepads will be brought over with everything else.
Okay, so if you want to bring sanitizer and I'll bring some paper towels or something, we can just make sure those are clean.
Is this going to be an easel, Nate? Okay, perfect.
It's like, I got it, just show up, just show up.
I think I'm fine by myself from 4 to 6 if it's slow, so I don't, but if anyone wants to join me, of course, you're welcome.
If I'm back in town, I'll swing by.
All right.
Anything else that we should think about in anticipation of tomorrow and Saturday? Martin or
Did
Lisa?
we come up with the phraseology of the 2 questions?
I included something on the report, but, if you all want to do something different, feel free. But I did write, one question could be you don't want to do a direct quote here, but what people like most about living in Chaska. And the second question was how Chaska can continue to become a more welcoming community. But that's just Nate writing something down, so feel free to do what you want with that.
Okay. All right, so Martin, maybe you and I can meet there at like 3:40 or something, 3:45 tomorrow?
Sure.
Set the booth up?
Whatever time you want, that's 3:45?
It won't take that long, I don't
Okay.
think.
Do we have pens from,
Yep,
so we still have the green pens to hand
we
out?
still have some, yeah.
Okay, great. But we have plenty of fans.
Yes.
Excellent.
Those fans will be a hot commodity, it's gonna be warm.
It sounds like we'll need them this weekend. Anything else we should talk about for River City Days?
Oh, where is the booth?
It's like literally right across the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In City Square Park.
It'll be clear. I've never.
It'll
been
be
to
clear.
City Days. Okay.
Do you know if it's, I mean, it's
Is it the usual
usually
layout, do you
been
think?
right towards the center, so
the
you
first
go by the
diagonal line.
gazebo and you can look around at the booths near there. And
Look for the yellow shirts.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an official booth layout map this year, so I don't know, but yes, if it's, usually there's not a lot of change from year to year,
No.
so.
There's like the government wing, and then there's like the political party wing, and,
And the food wing.
yes, the important food wing.
Yes. Okay, well, moving right along. Let's talk about the Pride celebration. How do we think that went? And thinking about the money that we heard about earlier, was it money well spent? Is this something that we want to do next year? Are there other partners that we should bring to the table to help us host the event? Those are just questions I had just to get us jumping into that discussion.
I think it went well. I'll start it off. I think it went very well. I think we should do it again next year. And try to coincide it with the actual Pride weekend, if something's happening in Minneapolis. I know it was difficult this year because it's spread out throughout the summer, but I think it was great. One, I worked the tie-dye station. Actually, I watched while my family worked it. But I think one of the things to think about is if we could partner with someone to buy shirts with maybe the Human Rights Commission logo, just plain white ones, or a shirt that says Chaska. And that way when they tie-dye it, you know, you can tie it back to the date and whatever was going on. So there were a lot of people who, I think we ran out of supplies. So there were a lot of people who brought their own shirt and tie-dyed. Some people went home to get and too late when they got back, so. It was good. I didn't get a chance to sample the ice cream. My son did, but I think it went well. So. I think we should add more money to the budget for next year. I think we should, at some point in time, ask the city for more money. As I'm looking through, like a lot of the things we want to plan, it all takes money, and I don't think $2,000 is going to cover it. So I think later on in the year, if we come up with like a budget and present it to the city council, maybe it'll go somewhere for those listening.
I mean, I guess I will just say it far exceeded my expectations. I really had no idea what to expect, and I was really, really profoundly moved by the number of people that showed up and just were clearly enjoying themselves and felt, you know, that community belonging was very present in that space. You know, it was families, it was kids. I had a chance to talk to a number of the teens that were there, and they were all just beyond thrilled that their hometown was doing something like this. So I am 100% in favor of doing it again. I too think that probably the odds are it's going to get bigger and not smaller, and so the budget piece is important. I also think the benefit of having a year to think about it is that I think there are other organizations within the community that would be more than willing to partner and put some money and donations towards it. So I think there's plenty of opportunity to sort of build a base beyond the Human Rights Commission to support that. I think Pride Month is probably good. Doing it the same weekend as Pride in Minneapolis might actually reduce our attendance. I think that was also one of the nice things is we were on the Pride calendar for Twin Cities Pride, and so there were people that came out to see what was going on. So I think we should be thoughtful around that. But I was really, really thrilled with all of it, and also want to, just again, I think when I got a chance to say a couple words, Parks and Rec was really awesome to work with, and they did a great job of hustling for us and setting up and tearing down and making it really easy for us to just kind of show up and take the credit for it. So I don't like doing that, so thanks to Tessa and her team.
Well,
Yeah.
they do like doing that, so
I know, but,
They-
no, I mean,
they
I don't
enjoy
like,
that role.
I don't like not giving people credit for doing all of that work,
Yeah,
so.
I appreciate that.
I would say based on feedback I received during the event and after, not only do I think we should have it, I think we need to have it next year. It just was so important to so many people in this community. And I'm just so glad that we were able to provide a place to help celebrate Pride Month out here. Because I talked to families that came from like Farmington and Faribault, and they said, we don't have this in our city, you know, and they just felt the community feel of everyone having fun and just, you know, doing great things together. And so I just think it really captured the sense of belonging that we were hoping it would. So good job, everybody.
Hannah?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. I thought it was really cool, the like cross-section of the community that came out, and especially the younger people. I think getting younger people to come out to city events is sometimes hard. So that was great. I like the amount of programming that there was. I mean, having a few words, but then it was mostly just hanging out, and I thought the ice cream was a good option. It wasn't too complicated, but it was fun. And now every time we drive by City Square, my daughter's like, ice cream. I'm like, not today, sorry. So she's looking forward to next year. But yeah, I thought it was really great. I think you know, if it's getting bigger and we're expanding, it'd be good to get more tie-dye stuff. And then maybe get more food trucks out there. I think that would be cool, especially, or like, if it's not a truck, like a booth or a stand with some of the local restaurants that people know, to feel like that's, you know, supported by the local businesses and stuff would be cool.
Good idea.
I did like too that there was a mixture of things that were available for purchase and things that people could participate in without paying for it, you know. I think that opens it up to a lot more people being able to attend.
I agree. I think I'm like all of you. I didn't know what to expect, and I just felt, wow, this is Chaska, and we're doing this. And it felt good to be in the park and to be with others. So I definitely am in favor of putting it on our calendar of activities for next year. And I agree, I think we can find other partners in the community that can help shoulder that expense. So we'll need to get working on that.
It was also fun that those of us who were able to be there could meet each other in person finally. You know? And I
Find
just
out that some
remember-
of us are pregnant.
Yes,
Yes, we were so surprised.
we were all surprised that Hannah was with child, but she was so surprised that Edder's tall.
Everybody's this big on this screen.
So it was nice to see people not on the Zoom screen and just get to know each other.
GSA was great to work with also, and they had some ideas I would have never thought of. I thought that was really great. The pennants were cool.
So officially, we certainly want to extend again our thanks to the Parks and Recreation Department for being our partners, helping us set up, being there, running for the ice cream, doing all those fantastic things that you think about should be done, but don't always have the hands to do. So thanks to the Parks and Recreation staff for helping us. And it was great that our city manager and our assistant city manager and their families attended. I just want to call that out because I think it's important that city officials come to events that we're hoping to, again, sponsor. And
There were also a couple
Yes,
council
I was
members.
gonna say, we
yes,
did
the
have
Yeah.
council members.
yes, and we had the council persons working with us also. So I'm thankful.
And to Hannah's point, Cassie Bernhardt and GSA folks that were there too.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that was great to have input from the GSA because not only did they think of fun ideas that they knew people in high school or younger or older would like, but they brought friends, you know, and so it really enriched it having a wide variety of ages and just different families that were there.
I agree.
Well, and having been part of that interaction with that group, I can tell you they had a bunch of other ideas too that they would love to pursue as well. So one of them included a concept of, and this would need more fleshing out, but trying to do some sort of a movie night at the community theater, at the community center, and they thought maybe that would be a good cold month activity, and maybe, you know, make it feel like an more upscale outing, I guess. You do, you know, some sort of a snack and, you know, age-appropriate drink, you know, out in the lobby area outside of the theater, ahead of it or after, however that would work out. So that was one idea that they put forward. But they definitely had no shortage of ideas. So.
Sounds like this should have its own subcommittee almost next year.
Absolutely. And let's move some of those ideas that we received into program committee. That'd be great. I like the movie night concept too. Moving right along, MLK. Jen, do you want to kind of update us on where we are with the MLK?
Sure. Our committee met and decided to extend an invitation to Jonathan Palmer to be the keynote speaker this year. Some of you met Jonathan when he was the facilitator at Race the Power of an Illusion series. And he is also the director at the Hallie Q. Brown Community Center in the Rondo neighborhood. And we really enjoyed having him out here before. I reached out to him and asked if he would be interested or available. And he said that he is honored and available, so that was a really good response. I also asked him if he had like a standard speaking fee. He said his standard fee is $1,000, but he modifies it based on the group and the budget that the group has. And so he was willing to work within the budget. He said oftentimes like community groups, he would do like 500 or whatever works for us. But he did say, this is mission work for me. And so it's really important to him to just speak to different groups about, you know, just justice and anything, you know, he asked about a couple different themes that we could do, and the subcommittee could talk about that more, and we'll bring it back to you. But we're really thrilled that we are, we've picked and accepted our keynote for this year, so.
And it's July.
I know.
Isn't it great?
Yes.
New milestone.
I know I'm not on the committee here. Have we ever thought about doing an essay contest? Like, I know we've talked about trying to get different groups, and that could it'd be community-wide, like, and whether you did like an elementary, a middle, and I just think you could have some fun with that. You could have a distinguished panel of judges. You could have the mayor on there and the superintendent and some other folks.
Did they used to have one years ago? I thought there was an essay contest at one time.
It's possible. I'm not aware of it, but Yeah, it's very possible.
I mean, there could be a written one and there could be an art one too, if we wanted to do
Right.
kind of both. I loved the artwork that was in the last one, and I'm trying to think about ways to get more people engaged and involved in it. And I think, you know, if we get it on the radars of teachers earlier in the year, that can be something that they think about too, in terms of making kids aware of it. Just a thought
Sure.
to put forward back to the committee to discuss.
Yeah, that's a great idea. The only other thing I was going to say is that at our last meeting, Robin Gordon joined us, and I forget her title. Kelly, can you help me?
As Director of Equity and Inclusion.
Okay, from the school district, and so she brought a whole lot of ideas too of different ways that we can connect with the school district in this celebration, and then we just discussed other groups that we might want to partner with as we're making our plans. But it's July, so we don't have a lot of our plans yet.
I think a lot of it, there's a lot of ideas that we have about getting students involved and working with the school district, and some of that is a timing-related thing. And I'm glad Robin Gordon is involved on the committee, because she's been able to kind of advise us on when's the time to make the ask. You know, is it summer, right at school's going, and kind of when's the sweet spot? So I think she'll be a big help once we get to that point.
So Jennifer, are you asking the commission to approve a dollar amount for Jonathan Palmer?
I think we need to make that decision tonight or soon, so we can get that nailed down, and I can extend the official invitation, kind of start giving details to him. I did tell him that we have our commission meeting monthly, so it would be a bit till I got back to him, so.
I'm wondering if, I guess I don't feel comfortable tonight. I'm wondering if, Nate, you can pull some history on what that event has caused and has cost. And I know that there's always some, because it's in January, and so there's some expenses that happen in December and some that happen in January. I'm just wondering about the last couple of, with past year excluded, the budget cycle, because thinking about Martin's point about there's lots of things that we want to do, and I just want to make sure that that we kind of are informed in terms of knowing that we only have this finite amount of dollars for right now before we can potentially do a song and dance for the council. I want to be thinking about other things that are on the radar too.
The MLK breakfast, though, to me, is pretty important to the HRC committee, because that's where we showcase like our award of the year and stuff. And I think that's always been like one of our big budget areas, and Pride will go too, but we've usually ended up with extra in the.
Right, I don't disagree. It seems as we push to being a more active group, I would like to just kind of have the historical piece before. I'm not opposed to even the $500, but that is a big chunk. That's more than I think we've paid in the past for an honorarium, so.
I think we've offered up to,
500?
but it was never accepted.
I don't think I've successfully exchanged the honorarium, despite my best attempts. No one has wanted to accept it, so we've had very gracious speakers in that way.
What are the other budget items in the MLK breakfast, the food and,
It's mostly the food.
okay, is there anything else we?
Do we pay anything for rental at the, okay.
No, that comes out of, there's a community fund that helps for community-based events to sort of cover that fee, so.
And is Southwest Metro ever, are they a financial sponsor or? Okay, all right.
They've always been a marketing sponsor.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I also think that is another, as it becomes a much larger and more higher profile event, another opportunity for us to find other people in the community to step up too. So I'm not in any way saying that I don't think it's a reasonable
Right.
request. I just think I want to be kind of mindful of where we're going with the limited dollars that we have, so.
I can put that together for August, and we've got those numbers.
If you think you can wait till August, then I think that would.
I think so.
Okay.
Is there, so I'm going to tag under her, Is there a budget put together for this? I realize you haven't put the numbers together, but are you working with a budget as you're setting it? Is any committee working with a budget on anything, or are we just counting on Park and Recs to pay for everything? Yeah, I put it out there like that I did, but I'm sorry.
I based this on what we've previously offered for keynote speakers. And so, I mean, like Lisa had said, a lot of times we end up with money left over at the end of the year, and if we don't use it, we lose it. But there are so many new programs being added to our year now that this is probably when we really have to start watching that more closely.
To answer your question, Martin, I don't think we've ever done any sort of program or project-related budgets within the context of the larger budget. I think it's always just kind of been, Nate, do we have enough money to make this work?
Yeah, that has been the historic, and maybe this is something for the group to consider. You know, as we are talking about budget a lot, and maybe you're trying to build the case for a higher allotment, you know, I hesitate advocating for another subcommittee, but maybe there should be a budget group to sort of take a look at that. And I can tell you right now, this is the time of year when we start looking at the city's budget and ramping up for that process. It doesn't get approved until December, but it's a 6-month process, so.
So you're saying we should start a subcommittee, have quick meetings so that we can say something to council at some point if we're considering it for next year's budget?
Yeah, and you know, I can talk with Matt too about how formal the request really needs to be. But I think at least for this group to start thinking about, well, if you were to use up your 2,000, you know, what would that look like? And if what else are you looking to do that could occur if it was something more than that? And sort of what does that ask become and why are sort of the questions that need to get answered. And you know, I can dream things up, but I think it's probably better coming from the commission.
Actually, I noticed in the Herald, no, excuse me, it wasn't the Herald. It was in the city council packet that they were reviewing budget numbers. And I looked for us as a line item, and I didn't see I didn't see us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering, what category do we fall under?
So the way that it's handled in our sort of accounting system is there's codes, right, that get budgeted to various expenses. The code that gets used for Human Rights Commission related expense would be the same code that's used for city council related expense. So it's kind of under that umbrella. And then what we say is, you know, of that amount that's budgeted for that larger umbrella, there's a 2,000 mark that I'm sort of keeping my eye on that's designated for you all. So it wouldn't show up as a
line item.
explicit item. Right?
Okay.
I would be happy to be on the budget committee.
Oh.
Thank you, Kaylee. Would anybody else like to join her on the budget committee?
I've got to quit.
Oh, sure.
My question is,
I was like,
how do we-
wait, Martin, you're on every committee.
how do we move it from being an allotted amount to a line item? Is that even possible? How many years does it take to get there so there's enough funds to fund what this committee or what this commission is going to do?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that.
Okay. I'll show up at the next council meeting on that.
Are there any other volunteers? I would be happy to join you on the budget committee.
Sorry, Nate.
It's a good group. It's a good group.
Put you through the ringer.
If I do it, I have got to give up something.
Yeah, no,
else.
No, you're fine.
So
you're-
I can give up program committee, calendar committee,
No, you
River City
can't.
Days.
Talk
No.
about joining
That's
those
almost done,
committees.
yeah.
No, we did talk about joining those committees
You're
together.
gonna have some free time now. The River City Days will be done.
Martin, you're doing plenty.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about for MLK?
I think that's all for tonight.
Great. Well, congrats on getting a speaker.
That's awesome.
It's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Very impressive.
All right. Speaking of program, here we are at the program committee.
I think we bailed on Nate the last meeting, didn't we?
We did. Nate had a meeting scheduled on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
The 4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend.
It's our standing time, so
And,
feel free to request another time.
and there were several of us that didn't show up.
All of us.
Okay, all of us. All right.
I was there.
You're an outstanding public servant, Nate.
So, well, how about if we just pass by program committee
I think so.
and plan for input next month?
Can we have talked about the difference between program and calendar committee.
We have merged the program.
Have we?
Have we?
Yes, didn't we, Nate?
What, if,
I think it was discussed, but I didn't,
because we would have a
Direction.
quorum, and so somebody would have to remove themselves from that committee.
Right.
Martin's on both, so he would.
But I
right.
think we would still have a quorum, wouldn't we?
How many do we have?
Because
Yes.
Sarah, Martin, and I were on program,
Right.
and you were on calendar with Martin. Was there anybody else?
And Seth,
And
I want to
Seth.
say? Yeah,
So we would have way more people on that than
that would be 5.
as is allowed.
We can merge and shrink, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm sure Seth would step back, and I can step back.
Well, now you gotta be in the budget committee.
I'm on the River City Days
Yeah,
Committee.
and that's gonna be over. Look, we found our third member of the budget committee. Talked himself out of one job and into another.
I like that movie just made.
He tried. I don't think we let him.
Maybe jujitsu.
I tried.
Well, I guess, is there a reason to have both? Does anyone see one?
It's the same committee.
It really
It
is.
is.
Okay.
I mean, and Kaylee kind of brought this up back in June, I think. The calendar committee, there could be a calendar committee, and it could meet at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year and kind of throw out some ideas. And then the program committee can take those ideas and run with it for the next year.
Like, these are the monthly celebrations. We might suggest monthly themes, and then, so we certainly could do that.
Could do that.
Martin's just saying that because he really wants to not be on the budget committee.
You
So-
don't want me on the budget committee.
So am I hearing that we are striking or at least pausing the calendar committee for now? Maybe it convenes in like December or something to look towards the year ahead. And so for the upcoming months, at least, we'll hold the program committee meeting.
Okay.
And so who will be on the program committee going forward? Is it the people who are currently on it? Which I think would be, was it Martin? Is it Hannah?
No, I'm on calendar.
Okay,
Oh, what, program committee?
yes.
It's-
Oh, 3 of
So
us.
the 3 of you, okay. Should we proceed that way?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
But I think she
Strongly
wants to
about
be
it,
a part of it.
one way or the other.
No, I don't. I just feel bad that I'm only on the website committee and we don't do anything yet.
Well, don't feel badly about it.
Okay.
There's an opening on the budget committee.
That is not my strong suit.
You need to talk about the headshots for the committee, though. Now you got something to do.
Okay. It does not matter to me, whatever is.
How about you join the program committee, and then I'll go to the budget committee?
Oh,
How's that? Is that good?
well, I do not want to be on the budget committee, so if you do, then.
Then I'll help
Right.
this. So I will see them either way, so.
Really, that's what it was about, Martin. Me.
Can I get a new chair next time?
We can move you anywhere you want. You let me know.
Okay,
Doesn't mean
well,
you're out of sight.
As a new member of the program committee, I forgot to mention in the calendar committee that doesn't exist anymore, when Tess, is that her name? Tessa.
Tessa.
And I met, which was the committee last month, we discussed the Pride celebration and then maybe doing one other thing. And main one we were discussing was something in like the Native American Heritage Month, which I think is at the end of the year. I don't remember, November, December. It's November.
November, traditionally
And-
November.
We didn't have any action items, but we talked about things like finding groups to partner with and figuring out what that would look like. So that's the extent of that.
I think we have an American Indian Parent Advisory Committee with the district, and that would be really good to plug into.
Yeah.
Because those are Chaska. So,
What month is it? Do you know? Off the top of your
It's
head?
November.
November.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of tentative, not the month, but
Right.
just depending on what we were doing with the, what was Green Card Voices or what the plan was there, so. That was the idea, but no plans were made.
Have you heard anything about the powwow returning?
I have not. I was just thinking about that, but I have not.
All right.
Because that is something historically, I believe the Human Rights Commission supported. But no.
Okay.
Is that in November usually?
No, it's in the summer.
Usually in, yeah, spring, early summer timeframe.
Because it's always, we do water, and that's always in high demand. So I always feel like it's really hot.
So not November.
No. I mean, November could be hot, who
And
knows?
I usually get a letter at the church I work at, telling us about the upcoming powwow or any of the events coming up, and I haven't gotten one this year.
Well, we're not through this pandemic yet, so it's
Right.
entirely possible that they're waiting it out till 22. So,
Right.
yeah.
Who puts that on?
Is it members of the Midwakaton Sioux?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I just know I usually heard it from Wally. And, I mean, who is just a community member who would,
Right.
you know, let me know when things were coming up and stuff, so. But I haven't heard anything this year.
I have not.
If I hear of something, I'll let you know. There might be a need for water that we can donate.
Great. Well, Hannah, since you mentioned Webpage, would you like to encourage us to do more on Webpage?
You and I? Sure. We should have a meeting.
Yes, we should. Let's schedule that.
Okay.
Okay, great. Would anybody like to join the webpage? Lisa, it was your brilliant idea to do headshots.
I'll attend a meeting, check it out.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're not the only one that gets bulldogged into doing things smart.
She'll check it out. She didn't say she was joining.
And Eder and Seth are not here tonight for our Empathetic Response Committee. So that kind of leads us to the new business of the Rotary Presentation. And I believe it was last year or early this year, Jen was contacted by the Chaska Rotary to schedule a time to do a presentation to them. And Jen turned that over to me and in conjunction with Nate. So we've prepared, Nate and I have prepared a slide presentation to present at the Chaska Rotary Club meeting next week on the 29th. Sadly, Nate's going to be out of town, so Kaylee's going to join me. And basically, the presentation is about 20 minutes long. Talks a little bit about the purpose of the Human Rights Commission, how the city sees us, why we were formed as a commission 20 years ago now. And then does a quick review of the kinds of activities that we've hosted in the past. And so I've included a discussion about transfer of memories. That was our Holocaust remembrance with Judy Mizell, and why we thought at the time that was important. Race, the Power of Illusion, that three-part series, partnering with an individual from the city of Chaska, just a citizen who thought that this might be a great dialogue to begin. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons why we went back to Jonathan Palmer, because he was the facilitator of that program. And now we can have him with a full loop 2 years later about talking about the Pride Picnic, our MLK event, our Human Rights Award event, and the honors that have been given to citizens and organizations in Chaska. I've also included a bit about Green Card Voices, and I've included the language that said, we would like the Chaska Rotary to partner with us. And we are asking for, and I typed in $900, knowing that Green Card Voices actually would cost $1,000 plus. I think if we recall our notes from last week, or last month, excuse me. So obviously that dollar amount can change, but I think that it's a great opportunity to do the asking and do it in a way that ties the Chaska Rotary into what the Human Rights Commission is all about. So that's the plan. Next Thursday morning at 7:30 in the morning.
Could you ask for the full amount? I mean, they could say no either way. $100 is not going to make or break any of these people if it's 1,000 plus. But if you start high, then maybe we'll get close to something.
Do you remember the amount? It was like $1,000 for the main exhibit and then additional for if we wanted activities, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe ask for the amount for the main exhibit and then we can find other ways to fund which activity we want to do?
Sounds like a good question for the budget committee.
We will not be meeting before
Yeah, there won't be opportunity for that.
the Rotary.
I think this is like Commissioner or Chair Carlson is saying here. I think this is a good opportunity, and I've had conversations with Nate Bostrom, who's part of Rotary and in charge of bringing people in as presenters this year. And part of, at least I think he's speaking on behalf of the Rotary when he says this, is that part of what they wanted to do this year was explore opportunities to learn more about and be a part of diversity topics in the community. And so that's what they're wanting to learn from the Human Rights Commission. And to me, when I hear be a part of, I think financial support is certainly one way to do that. And that's part of why the Rotary exists. So here's an opportunity to make a partnership, which is one of the goals that exists in the strategic plan for this group, with an entity that, they're not swimming in cash necessarily because they support a lot of things, but they are a fundraising group and they are a community supporting group. So I think, like you're suggesting, Green Card Voices is one opportunity for that, but we've already talked about many other things just tonight that we're saying we need some partnership and some cash. So, maybe this is a foot in the door to more or something.
So is what you're saying an indicator about, or an observation about the amount that we should present?
I personally wouldn't be shy, is maybe what I'm saying. I don't know what the right amount is.
I don't know. I was just typing away, and I typed in 900.
Yeah,
I thought,
I mean-
it wasn't 1,000, I'll type in 900. And then knowing that we were coming tonight to talk about and let you all know that this was on our calendar to present, I can certainly adjust the figure. I think that, like all organizations, they probably have been asked many times for funds. But if our presentation can help align their diversity and equity efforts with us, I think that there could be financial support. And quite frankly, I think we would welcome any contribution.
Sure. But $1,000 is 50% of our budget. And I'm guessing their budget is a little bit higher than that. I don't know what it is, but, so I think that $1,000 for a specific reason, it's not a crazy ask, you know.
My experience with Rotary in general, so if their motto is service above self, and they're giving back to the community, if we can just sell this, Green Card Voices, and explain to them how important it is, and it's giving back, and it's helping improve the community, I think they'll go for it. I think they'll give something, even if it's their time, but I think there is enough cash that they could, or enough funds, enough want to do it. We can also partner with Chanhassen and Laconia if need be. How do I put this? I think there's enough funds out there for us to tap into and not be afraid to start high and then work our way down a little bit.
What are the guidelines, though, of partnering with other cities, organizations, since this is a Chaska commission?
I think that would be more up to those other organizations
Okay.
than us. So if to use Martin's example of Laconia Rotary felt like sponsoring an event that's occurring in Chaska is part of what they want to do, that would be more their judgment call, I think. So
Well,
it's
not as if
possible.
We certainly haven't we haven't carded people at the door to make sure they're Chaska residents.
No.
So, I mean.
No, they're all
Yeah.
welcome to attend, but I didn't know.
I think there's a
if-
story
but
to
this-
tell. The
Yeah.
community center is not exclusive to Chaska,
Yeah.
just like Commissioner Haig is saying, and so yeah, maybe there is a more regional interest in supporting events.
The other thing that I included in the remarks was a short description of Marnita's table. Although we were not active partners in that event, those two events, we did have representation, and Jen represented the Human Rights Commission in planning and in executing those two events. And I think, sadly, COVID occurred, but I mean, that started the communication, I think, within our community. And so, and then I just wanted to add one more thing about asking for money. I also included remarks, and we'll get together and we'll delete or add or change, asking Rotary to be a partner with us on our MLK event. I think that's a natural for other civic organizations to join us in January, and hoping that that does not necessarily mean cash, but certainly time and energy and commitment.
Yeah, another thing to keep in mind is that many of the people who are on Rotary are also business owners themselves, and so there's different ways that participation and support can come out of there. It's a networking opportunity. It's a group that is there to support community activities, and so there's different ways that different things that partnership can mean as it relates to that group in particular.
And the business owners may have other ideas of, because of the nature of whatever business they're in, they'll say, oh, I have something that would work great with that.
It's possible.
Something we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah. Okay. Any other business?
Do we have solid plans about Green Card Voices, or are we kind of waiting to see how the presentation goes from Rotary?
Nate spoke with Green Card Voices and secured the dollar amounts. I don't think you checked availability for 2022.
Not yet. So last we talked last meeting, we were looking at the possibility of August, and the commission decided that was too soon to commit to that. And so the idea was that it would go back to the program committee, which now that we've reorged and we're, we'll meet in August, and I think for them to sort of think through timing and, the funding piece, we'll see what happens at the Rotary conversation. Maybe that contributes to that, and kind of, but with an eye towards 2022. So.
Any other business?
I have a question. Can it happen anytime, or is it just August?
No, so the reason we looked at August was because of holding it in the gallery space at the community center, and the Carver County Arts Consortium was planning, I don't know exactly what the theme is for August, but it's something that would have aligned with the idea of recharge voices as well. And so that's where we thought maybe there's, overlap there that would make sense. But I think looking ahead to 2022, we can kind of see what month we think makes sense, or maybe there's a few month options or something like that. So, yeah, it's based on really the availability of green card voices and the commitments that they may have.
And unless we see another rise in the COVID numbers, I think by pushing this event to 2022, we'll see more participation,
Yeah.
which I think sounds more reasonable than right now. Next meeting, we will have Robin Gordon as our guest speaker. And so plan on your calendar to come and hear her. September, we have a presentation from Julie Frick, Carver County Community Development, talking about affordable housing opportunities in Chaska. So we have the next 2 months planned for some great speakers. And I have no other business.
It's August 26th, right?
Is our next meeting?
Is that the date? Like, just to confirm.
Let me just quick pull up a calendar. Next meeting would be, yes, August 26th.
August 26th.
Before we adjourn, I have a question
Yes.
or a comment. So I think yesterday was picnic with the cop, am I right? And then the day before was ice cream or a cone with the cop, or sometime this week. Is there any way we can get advanced warning or notice of that?
Yeah.
Those events?
Yeah.
Because I kind of found out right before it happened.
Okay. Yep.
So it would have been nice, and I don't know who went to any of these, but it would have been nice if we had, hopefully had some sort of representation to
Yep.
say that we were there. And I would have been happy to go, but found out 5 minutes beforehand, so.
Okay. I will make sure you all are getting notice.
Great.
And if we are going, we should let you know.
Never a bad thing to do.
Okay. Anything else?
Well done, Madam Chair.
I think that we can officially adjourn. And thank you all. It's great, again, to see each of us live. I mean, this is just wonderful. Didn't we have a good time tonight? I mean, it was a good meeting, right?
This is great.
Great. All right. Do I need a motion to adjourn? Or can we just say so moved?
So move.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.
Aye.